So something was up with Felicia's phone. Hello, it's me, Shay Johnson. It's still my live takeover. We had Felicia Moore, who is Atlanta's she works in Atlanta, and I know that she's running for mayor. I met her in Atlanta, Georgia at one of the USA Fibroid events, and she was so cool. She came to support the event, and I know she has a story to tell. We were trying to go live with Felicia. For some reason, it is not working. One more time, but if not, I'm going to have to end this live. I've been live all day. So we're going to try it one more time. There you are. I'm like, what happened? How are you doing, Felicia?
Well, see, I don't do this very often, so I had no permissions for anything. That's why you couldn't see me.
It's okay. How you doing today?
I am fine. It's been a long day. I'm running.
Yeah, man. It was good to meet you at the USA Fibroid Centers. You had really, really good energy. You were all positive the whole time. So I had asked Jen if I could go live with you just to talk a little bit about fibroids, because I know you have a story and you have a lot of information that you could possibly share with the ladies. And a lot of people are scared to speak up and speak out. So we do this so we can make women comfortable and let them know we're here for them. And you do have options. So my question to you is, have you ever had fibroids?
Gotta represent a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Have you ever had fibroids?
Oh, yes, my goodness. And I'm sure everybody pretty much has a part of the same story. I had fibroids and, I knew it early on, because you get your pap smears. But as I got older, they started getting bigger and they started, with the bleeding. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And it really got to be to a point I was trying to be a council member. You stand up and you feel that gushy feeling,
that part.
and you're like, Lord, please don't let, it overflow. And it just seemed like my periods would never end. And then, because you're bleeding so much, you're tired.
Yeah.
You still have, women, we still got to do what we got to do. And you're trying to keep up with everything, but people just don't know how much you're suffering. Yeah. It's a mental suffering, too. It messes with the mind.
It really, really does. It really mentally messed with me because I pulled away from my family, my friends. I stopped dating. I became very enclosed. I stayed in the house because I didn't know when an accident would happen. I didn't know if I would get that dizzy spell that I was getting, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was because I was highly anemic and I was low with my iron was low. I needed a blood transfusion, all of that, and I was too terrified to go to the hospital to figure it out. At the time you had fibroids, what were your options to remove them?
Well, my gynecologist, which was a Black female, which I still can't understand, she kept trying to get me to get a hysterectomy.
That was your only option?
Well, that was the only thing she was telling me about. It was actually my boyfriend who heard an ad on the radio who suggested that I look into UFE.
Oh, wow.
And so I took, I went to her and I said, well, what about UFE? And she was like, well, you just don't need to mess with this. You just need to go ahead and get a hysterectomy. She kept trying to push me for a hysterectomy. And I said, no, I want to know about this UFE. And so she gave me a pamphlet. And I had to fight her for it because I know it's crazy.
Why?
She wanted me to have a hysterectomy. And the UFE to me sound less invasive. And I'm like, why can't I try this? Why shouldn't I try this first before I take my parts out?
Right.
Because I knew having a hysterectomy was major surgery. Yes. I know my mom had a hysterectomy, and I know all of the problems she had associated with the hysterectomy later in life. And I was like, if I could do anything to avoid that, I'd rather do that. So I pushed for it, and she finally relented and gave me the referral to get a UFE.
Wow. Question, why do you think she was trying to prevent you from UFE? Like, why was she so adamant about it?
I don't know. I don't know that if it was money motivated because, major surgeries are more money, or if she just felt that it was just something, your uterus is just something you can just throw away and get rid of the problem. Because her thing was like, you'll get the UFE, but they might come back. Well, if they come back in a decade, I can get another UFE.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? But, I think that sometimes even as women, we don't stress the importance of keeping those parts because it keeps a lot of your hormones regulated. It's enough to have to go through menopause and have the hot flashes and all that. Mm-hmm. But when you take out that part, I'll just say, just from my mother's standpoint, later she had an inlapse bladder.
What is it?
Her bladder, because she didn't have the uterus, which would have been in between her bladder and her vagina, the bladder went through the vagina.
Oh my God.
And some people have inlapse colon, where the colon goes through. I mean, just saying, those are just two things, and I'm sure there are others. There are a lot of perhaps longer term implications of having the hysterectomy. And I wanted to try something different, and it worked for me. It worked for me.
And you know what? It's a blessing that whomever referred you at that time to UFE, because literally your option was to rip a piece of you away, and that was it. Not with no other option of UFE. It's really, really sad that money is the motive, and that's just how I feel. It's just an opinion of mine, but I feel that women are forced towards the myomectomy or hysterectomy because it costs more to have that surgery done versus going to have a non-surgical UFE, uterine fibroid embolization. So that's why I'm trying to push women to go to USA Fibroid Centers, because they have the option of UFE. They will, examine you to see what your options are, but for sure, one of your options is UFE, just, depending on the fibroids, the location, how many you have, how long they've been there, of course, but majority of the time, I should have been told about UFE and I wasn't. So I had a myomectomy. I can't take that back. This scar is here forever. And the only thing that really kind of bothers me sometimes is when I decide to have a baby, they told me I can't have a baby vaginally. I will have to have a cesarean.
Mm-hmm.
So you took that option away from me and never gave me an option of UFE. And I used to cry about it. I honestly used to cry about it, like, wow, because I felt like a part of me was missing, like it's not fair that I can experience that. So I appreciate your story, and I just really hope that you continue to speak up and speak out on your situation, because it's really sad to hear that that was your option and they gave you no other. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I know
that's why we as women, we've got to take our power in our own hand, and I'm just blessing you to continue to spread the word and use your platform and your celebrity to speak out, because the more of us talk about it, the better we are, and more people have that information.
Absolutely. I totally agree, because there's several women that represent USA Fibroid Centers, and they speak up and speak out mainly on social media. And I just think it's just amazing that so many people are coming out and spreading the word, because I feel like if we bring more awareness to this, we can figure out where it's coming from. We don't know why this is happening, and mainly to African American women. That's really interesting to me, that it happens mainly to African American women, my culture. So that's another reason why I felt like I had to step up. I had to speak out on my situation. And what's funny, you know what, Miss Moore? I never heard of fibroids until I got it a couple years ago. That is terrible. And my mother never heard of it.
That's because women, instead of talking about each other, we need to talk about what we're experiencing and what we're going through. Talk to your girlfriends, talk to friends, so that we can talk about this, because actually, other than my partner who knew I was having trouble, because it certainly cuts out your sex life.
It was non-existent for me, honey. It was gone.
Other than that, everybody else don't know that you're suffering in silence. So if you start talking to each other. So as city council member, I would have every year a fibroids education thing at City Hall. And many women went and got their UFE as a result of that.
Oh, wow. You do it every year?
Well, I haven't done it recently. I'm running for mayor now, but I was doing it every year. Mm-hmm.
If you do decide to do it, can I help you? Can I be involved?
Sure,
be a
sure.
part, I would love to be a part of that because a lot of women think that in the UFE procedure, it's covered by most insurance companies, right? And a lot of women don't know that your insurance will most likely cover this non-surgical procedure. So ladies, if you're out there and you're having any symptoms of fibroids, pelvic pain, back pain, extended menstruals, blood clots, it feels like some type of ball or knot in your stomach, check out USA Fibroid Centers, and they will give you a possible option of UFE, uterine fibroid embolization. And just know all your options before you make your decision. Felicia, you are amazing, girl.
Thank you.
We will talk soon. I appreciate you for sharing your story with me on my live, Shay Johnson's live. I took over today, and you are my last live that I'm having today. And this was an amazing conversation. We will talk soon. I know it's late, but thank you for coming on and talking to me. And we'll talk soon. I'm making sure Jen calls you because I want to be a part of it. I know you're running for mayor, and you got my vote. I got you, girl. You got my vote. But when you do, if you do continue to have your fibroid event, even if I have to come in and I'll do anything you need me to do, just know that I got you. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. And thanks to everybody. Spread the word. You do not have to get a hysterectomy. There is an answer out there.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to cut myself off.
I'll cut it.